That's interesting. I kind of want to keep the Lapras around. Oh, this biome is not in the correct. This pylon is not in the correct biome. Now you might say, why is that? Obviously, the snow pylon is in the snow biome, and I will tell you why right now. I'll show you why. So with hard mode, I think I've mentioned it before, but we get some new biomes. We get a couple new biomes, and one of them is this one right here. This has to do with the meteor that fell from the sky, and it has essentially converted this biome into what is known as an astral biome. So now, these guys right here will sell an astral pylon instead of a snow pylon. So now, anytime I want to travel to this biome, it's going to be the astral biome from now on. Which means we do now have extra room for another snow biome if we want to build one, or if there happens to be some room somewhere, like underground maybe. We can maybe make that into a snow biome. So that is pretty neat. That is one change that we're going to see in hard mode. We get this new ore that we can't mine yet. The blocks hurt us when we stand on them. They give us astral infection. So we're going to have to deal with that somehow later. We get this cool building with a little altar on top of it, which requires some kind of item we don't have. We'll get plenty of those items later, but right now we just don't have any. So I'll show that off later. We could destroy this and gather the materials, but I don't necessarily want to do that. I think the materials are basically wood, so we could just cut down some trees and get the same stuff. So if I need more of these astral monoliths, basically wood, but astral monoliths, then I'll just come back to this biome and harvest some trees and replant the acorns. So that is all happening over there. So that's one new biome that we're going to see. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get rid of all of this other stuff that we have and figure out what we can do with like the astral monoliths and the essence of havoc and the crimson key and all that stuff. So if we open the treasure bag, we get a lot of stuff. We get a lot of stuff. Okay, what do we have? Go one by one. We have a ranger emblem, which is a accessory. It's a material, so we can do something with it later. And it increases our ranged damage, so it fits right into our build if we want to replace the granite core and maybe the medallion and the fungal clump. If we want to just take those out and use the ranger emblem, we can use that. That'll just give us a flat damage boost, which is always welcome. So now we can put the Shield of Cthulhu on this build, or any of these other things. Granite core or the fungal clump, maybe. I'm going to put this medallion away when we get a chance. So what do we have now? We have the Carnage, which is a melee weapon. It looks like a sickle. Like a big meat sickle, basically. But it is a melee weapon, so I'm just going to sell it. Unfortunately, it does seem pretty good, but I'm just going to sell it. We don't need it. We get a summon weapon called the Black Hawk Remote, but it is a summon weapon, so we will sell it. We got a laser rifle, which is a magic weapon, but we could replace something with it, maybe. Maybe the B-gun, maybe the Knight's Ray, maybe the Anurian. The laser rifle is basically a better space gun, It just shoots out a single beam of energy, but it shoots it out pretty quickly, and it does quite a lot of damage. So that is pretty good. We get a Meow Thrower, which I believe is a flamethrower. What is this? Hooks your foes to perfection. Perfection with a catty smoke. Occasionally launches homing feline entities. It uses gel for ammo. So yeah, it's a type of flamethrower. We can maybe replace something with this. It's a ranged weapon, so we'll maybe make use of that. We get another ranged weapon. We get the Clockwork Assault Rifle, which is a pretty classic one. I think this has been in the game since like 1.2 or something like that, or 1. Even before that, 1.1 maybe. So it's been in the game for a while, a long time. Been pretty classic. It's pretty good. I don't know if we necessarily need to use it, but it is pretty good, especially if you combine it with the right ammo. We might keep it. We have another sword, and we're going to sell it. But this is actually a reference, if you didn't realize it immediately. It's like the Buster Blade from Final Fantasy. But, you know, they can't call it a Buster Blade, so they call it a Breaker Blade, and it's basically exactly the same. It's just a big old sword with that angled edge at the top there. So, cool stuff. I don't think it really does anything special. It just is a Buster Blade. So, you know, if you want to look cool, I guess you could use that. But we're going to sell it because it's a sword. And then we have a Pwn Hammer, which is a type of hammer. So we can use it to destroy walls. But this one is special. This particular hammer is special because it is a material, so we can use it to craft a better hammer later. And it is strong enough to destroy demon altars. So now, if we wanted to, we could go to the corruption and destroy all of those demon altars on either side for resources. Demon altars will drop Souls of Night, which are a type of material that we can use for lots of stuff from now on. So if we need more Souls of Night, we can just go to the corruption and grab some from the corruption altars there. The demon altars used to do something different, hence why it says demon altars now drop Souls of Night instead of generating ores. The way that hard mode worked in vanilla is a bit different. So if I wasn't playing on Calamity, what would happen is I would defeat the Wall of Flesh. We would get access to the Pwn Hammer, and we would be able to destroy these demon altars. But instead of dropping Souls of Night, they would give us the hard mode ores. So Cobalt, Palladium, the next tier, which are Mithril and Orichalcum, and then the next tier after that, which is Titanium and Adamantium, I believe. So we would have gotten all of those from destroying demon altars, rather than what it says here, which is saying hard mode ores now generate after defeating mechanical bosses, which are a type of boss that we're going to have to fight eventually. But we'll definitely keep this around. We definitely need it for the rest of the game. We'll keep it around. And then finally, we get a Demon Heart, which permanently increases the number of accessory slots, which is amazing. So now we get access to, I think, 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 accessories. So now we can put on, let's say, we put on the polarizer, and we can switch out the polarizer and the shield for something else. And on this build, we can add, I guess we can use the granite core or something like that. And then on this build, we can permanently use our gizmo pack, which is gonna be pretty nice for mining and placing stuff. So that is pretty neat. Pretty neat. So that is the Wall of Flesh. Is done. We can go back and refarm it if we need to for more items. But it is done. We don't have to go back if we don't want to. Take a look at its boss entry just to see what we can get. Clearly, we can get a lot of stuff. So we're probably going to want to farm it at some point, but for now, we don't really need to. We can get a goat skull, which is a goat mount. It's a pretty fast one. I think it makes you run faster than your default running speed. So that would be useful, just to get around the world. We can get a corruption key or a crimson key, which is going to unlock the corruption and crimson chests in the dungeon. But we do need to defeat a certain jungle boss for that to happen, so that's not going to be available yet. We can get a loot magnet, which is actually very helpful. I wish we could have gotten that right now, but this basically causes any item in the world to be magnetized towards you. So if you just hold this for like 5 minutes, all of the entities in the world will be sucked into your player, and then you can sell everything or keep it. So it's useful for farming, it's useful for cleaning up. So yeah, I wish we would have gotten this right now, but we just didn't. So we can get that later. We can get a new whip, which is a summon weapon, of course. We get a new rogue weapon. We can get emblems for every class, so we can go back and get a sorcerer emblem at some point. And we still can get these Calamity items, so the laudanum, the Heart of Darkness, and the stress pills. We still haven't gotten the Heart of Darkness from any boss, so hopefully sometime we will get one of those, but we just haven't gotten one yet. Anyways, what is on the horizon now? A lot of stuff. Like I said, we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of busy work to catch up with before we even tackle the boss list. And the boss list is even larger than before. So I think we had, let me count here. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 entries in pre-hard mode, minus a few because we did not fight the Brain of Cthulhu or the Perforators in this world. So 18, really. 18 entries. And here, I think it's upwards of 30. So we have a lot more to do. So we're going to be here for a long time. But I think it's going to be a lot more... I think it's a lot more fun. It's going to be a lot of work, to be sure. But I think we're going to have a lot of access to a lot of new items, new NPCs, new parts of the world, all of that good stuff. So, I think this has the potential to be a lot more exciting this time. So our next event that we have to get through is the Pirate Invasion. Occurs randomly once at least one altar has been destroyed, as in the demon altars. So we're not going to get them spawned in quite yet until we get that done. Which is pretty nice. We can just hold them off for a while if we want to. But it can be summoned with a pirate map, which can be obtained from killing any enemy in the ocean during hard mode. So, we can do that. We can go to the ocean and farm for a pirate map if we want it to. We could start building our trophy room somewhere. I don't really know where. But we could start building our trophy room somewhere. We could start building more housing in a bunch of new areas. We can build more housing in the underground snow biome. We can go discover our other new biomes that we have access to. And we can still build our housing in the mushroom and cavern biomes, which will give us new pylons. But we have access to, like, I think 4 more pylons in total, if I remember correctly. So we still have a lot of space that can be used for housing. Other than that, what can we do? We can search through our materials and see what we have available now that we're in hard mode. We can take these weapons to the guide if they're materials. And we could also go farming for ore. We can go get some palladium and cobalt. Yeah, a lot of stuff available. As you can see, this Essence of Havoc alone can craft a number of things. We can use those for stuff. We actually do need these Hellfire Treads. We've been waiting on these for a while. So we can go to the underworld and grab more Essence of Havoc for a bunch of Hellfire Treads. We can get those going. Get some accessories. We can build up to newer materials even later. Some boss summons, some weapons and tools, all of that good stuff. We'll definitely be taking a look into that later. We still have plenty of storage space. We can add more chests down here if we need it. We're going to get a lot of materials at some point, so we're probably going to need at least 1 or 2 more chests for the mod materials and vanilla materials. Well, we've got plenty of space. We're going to need another chest for the vanilla tools, which is fine. Alright, yeah, let's go ahead and put all this stuff away and see what we want to do for the next hour. Oh my god, it feels like a huge weight has just been lifted off of my shoulders, man. Ugh, I honestly wasn't too confident we were going to get past the wall today if we didn't find that exploit. So honestly, I don't really mind that we did. Ugh, we still had to, you know, actually fight it and make sure we didn't get run off the side of the world, so. For what it is, I'll count it. Alright, so we have, let's see, this Ranger Medallion, which is going to go into here. Or this, not a Ranger Medallion, sorry. A Rusty Medallion. Which does have some buff to ranged weapons, so. Just kind of got it mixed up there. Put most of these weapons away. The Breaker Blade will sell. Carnage we're going to sell. And the Black Hawk we're going to sell. Trade winds, we can go ahead and put those away. We don't need them anymore. The Clockwork Assault Rifle. I think I might want to replace the Flurry Storm Cannon with that, to be honest. The Meow Thrower, let's go ahead and try that out. I don't really know what it does. Oh, I see. So it's a flamethrower, but it shoots out cats of like every once in a while. And it makes cat sound effects. Oh, you know what? I forgot about these guys right here too. These are very helpful as well. I'll talk about these in just a minute. Yeah, I'll keep the meow thrower. Let me replace the archer fish with it. Let me try it out. We'll put those away, and then the laser rifle. I guess I'll replace the bee gun we'll keep the Inurian, the frog weapon, we'll keep that. And then, obviously, the Pwn Hammer we want to keep around. We'll just put that on for now. What do we have here? We have the Flurry Storm Cannon. Is going to go into the guns chest. Got the Archer Fish, which can also go into the guns chest. Then we have the bee gun, which can go into the magic guns chest. Then we'll sell the rest of the stuff here. Strange plants, like I was saying, are helpful, these things right here. Because if we take him to the dye trader, which happens to be right here actually, we can take him to the dye trader, and we can get new unique dyes from them. So we put this on, as you can see, we're now like, we look like we're made out of metal now, kind of. We're just kind of shiny. So we can't get this dye from anywhere else. We would have to get it from a strange plant. So if we find any more strange plants throughout the world, we can take them to the dye trader and get new dyes. Which is pretty nice because there's not a lot of other places that we can get dyes in this game. So that is pretty nice. And I should say with the strange plants, if we what am I trying to say? If we go to the dye trader with strange plants at certain points in the game, he'll give us different types of dyes. So he'll have like a set amount of dyes that he can give us right now. And as we progress through the bosses, he will give us more and more if we keep going to him. So we're going to have access to a lot of different dyes as we progress through the game, which again is really nice. So that is quite exciting, I would say. I've been kind of waiting for dyes because my my outfits have been kind of getting a little worn out, I would say, a little stale. Now we have access to that, so yeah, neat. So, what can we do? What can we do? I think what I want to do, at least for a few minutes, is to show off the other biome that we have now. Again, I've mentioned it maybe a handful of times, and if you're a Terraria player, you know all about this. Even if you don't play Terraria, you've probably seen this in videos or something. Promotional art, memes, stuff like that. So we have our corruption biome, right? Which is essentially the evil part of the world. It has all these nasty enemies. There's like these thorns that hurt us every time we pass through them. If we don't place sunflowers around, it'll spread. And now that spread actually gets even worse during hard mode. So this whole underground part is probably going to be corrupted eventually. Including the jungle, we're probably going to have to deal with that eventually. We just don't really have the means to do that right now. But that's going to be a problem eventually. We might have to move these guys out. Maybe. Oh yeah, it's already corrupted. Yeah, this used to be jungle right here, but now it's all corruption. So that's a new thing about the corruption biome, is that it's going to be a lot more aggressive, and we're going to get some new enemies like this guy right here. Got some new materials, but we're gonna have to, you know, deal with a lot of those guys. So that's something new. I'm trying to find the other new biome, which is basically the opposite of the corruption. It's looking like it's going to be on the other side of the world. Yeah, we have the evil biome, we have the corruption or the crimson, depending on what kind of world we make. And we have the other side of the world, which is the righteous side, I guess, or the good side. It'll be basically the complete opposite of the corruption. They're still enemies, and they'll still hurt us for sure, but they drop a lot more useful stuff. The music is a lot more uplifting. It's like bright when we walk in there. You know how it like darkens when we walk into the corruption. You know, like brighten when we walk into the hollow. It's called the hollow, and everything is like pink and rainbow and white and like effervescent. Here it is. So we have a new hollow desert, which has white sand. We have new trees, which are like blue. And they have different wood. Plants are a little bit different. The water is pink and purple now. The trees here are like rainbow colored. Again, they drop different wood. So if we want to get some different wood, we can get some from here. We've got blue grass. We've got pink stone. The music is different. Unfortunately, we don't really get that much of it. It looks like it's surrounded by the astral infection and the corruption on the other side. But this does spread underground as well. So if we want to continue underground, eventually we're going to see more of this hollowed biome as it spreads. Because this does also spread like the corruption. So eventually we're going to get a lot more of this biome underground. And if we really wanted to, we could convert this corruption biome on the right side here into a hollowed biome. Again, we don't really have the means to do that right now, but we can do that eventually. We would basically convert all of these blocks here into normal blocks, and then just stave off the corruption spread, and in the meantime allow the hollowed blocks to spread all the way to our house. So we can do that eventually, maybe. We didn't see any enemies there, but there are enemies in the hollow. We're gonna have to fight those, you know, at some point eventually. So there's that. There's the hollowed biome. I don't think we necessarily need to like farm anything from there right now. But, you know, now that we have like Souls of Night, Cursed Flame, and the Essence of Havoc that we got earlier, we can start to take a look at all these different materials and items that we have access to now. We can do that. Again, like I said, there's going to be a lot of this for a while, so there's going to be a lot of different stuff we can look through. So we can do that. We can go to the Sunken Sea, actually. I kind of forgot about that. We can check out the Sunken Sea, because apparently something's happening over there. We can go break some demon altars, and maybe start a pirate invasion. We can figure out where we're going to put our new housing, and all of that.